G'day Internet,
So,
Max right here, and a very fun guest today. First time on the channel, but he's done something that I think is unbelievably impressive. We are talking to JP, one of the founders, lead developers of Thorchain, which as followers of my channel know, I think it's up there with Bitcoin as one of the most important projects in the entire ecosystem and a really, really important component of freedom for everybody. So JP, welcome to the channel.
hey man, thanks for having me on.
So, given it's our first time, to have a chat, if you don't mind, I would kind of love to hear a little bit about your background, and if you want to just flow straight into the genesis of Thorchain and how it kind of began and how the team started, that would be a fascinating little bit of history for me.
Sure. I was in the Air Force as a pilot. I was on fighter stream, flying F-18 Hornets, and then switched to bomber stream, flying bombers around the world. And about that time, I discovered Bitcoin in 2013 at a meetup, and I thought this is going to change the world. I wanted to become a pilot, test pilot, fighter pilot, test pilot, astronaut level, but I got a bit disillusioned with the Air Force organization, and they weren't rewarding my creativity and imagination enough. So I decided to put all my energy to leaving that organization and joining crypto. And I wanted to build something big. I wanted to do something in a big way, set myself a big 10-year goal. So I got into crypto, building full time in about 2016 after watching Bitcoin go up and down and telling all my friends to buy it. To me, Bitcoin represented a fundamental change in the way we viewed value. So we have finite time and finite effort, right? And we convert that time and effort into value. And that value allows us to buy someone else's time and effort across time and space. So, fly around the world or 10 years later, buy someone else's time and effort. So value itself is a medium of transporting your finite time multiplied by your finite effort. And those two aspects are scarce. So the best asset to store value is something that also has extremely high integrity when it comes to its monetary properties. And Bitcoin is the most superior in that regard. It's more superior than gold, it's more superior than fiat currencies and anything else. But also, it's completely digital. It can be transported through a fiber optic cable. So I recognize it was not just a better asset storing value across time, but also a better asset storing value across space, being it could be transmitted, and it was digital. So it's a completely superior form of money, and I wanted to devote my effort into that. But I initially recognized that there was no way to convert Bitcoin into ETH into stablecoins in about 2016 when I started. I won an Ethereum hackathon, self-taught smart contracting, and I decided to build. So I launched a couple of small projects that were in the wrong directions, had to shut them down. But at the end of my first year of building full-time in crypto, I realized, hey, it's going to be decentralized liquidity. And it wasn't just swaps for tokens on Ethereum. By then, the biggest token at the stage in 2016 was the birth of the ICO, so Gnosis, MakerDAO. There was just very early on. There's only a couple of Ethereum tokens like that. So I didn't put my effort into building for Ethereum swaps. I wanted to solve Bitcoin to Ethereum swaps. Atomic swaps was the only one that looked like was going to work, but atomic swaps back in those days required like 8 different interactions between the user and the taker, the maker and the taker. And I thought that's never going to work. We need to build a completely new protocol that has liquidity at its core. And instead of limit order books, which are inherently centralized, because a centralized limit order book with limit orders and buy and sells is basically a hangover of our legacy financial system where our stocks don't trade below 1 unit. So you have to post a finite amount of orders. Instead, I recognize that with math, you can actually build a much better liquidity system. And so I came up with the liquidity formula in 2018, before even Uniswap came out. And I recognized the liquidity formula was just basically a description of a input across a pool of tokens with an input side and an output side to generate an output. And the most fundamental, easy way to understand that is one token in across a pool of A and B will spit out the exact ratio on the other side, but that will go insolvent when you put in more than the pool can have. So I came up with the continuous liquidity formula, which is basically a means of putting in a pool with a pool of A and B of tokens and spitting out, and it can quote from 0 to infinity. And all you have to do is apply the trade with the reserve of tokens after the trade has been executed. So we came up with the contested liquidity formula, and we built it around a multi-sig, Bitcoin multi-sig, Ethereum multi-sig. But we really recognized that the complexity of that was not going to work. So I almost had to shut the program down, project down at the end of 2018. And then in 2019, I discovered the threshold signature protocol written by GG20. And I think it was ZenGo, the wallet that I think you can download today, had released the very first open source implementation written in Rust of TSS. And I immediately knew that this was the solution, because you could take this TSS protocol, wrap it to Thorchain, wrap it to us like a state machine, and then start observing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other protocols to allow you to basically generate swaps. So we took that MPC code, wrapped it to the Cosmos SDK state machine. Cosmos had yet to be launched, so it was very beta software. And after a lot of trial and error, launching it, testnet, single chain chaosnet, multi-chain chaosnet, finally where we are today in 2024, it's got almost $500 million in TVL in its pools. It's got over almost $1 billion in security to secure those assets. It's integrated in all the major wallets, and all the major products and services are going to be integrating this year and the next year. It's basically one. It is the gold standard for liquidity for wallets, exchanges, and swap providers. It's truly decentralized. I know probably only about 10 to 20% of the node operators. In fact, I go to meetups these days, and people introduce themselves as node operators. I'm like, wow, I did not know that. So it's truly decentralized. Now, it was pretty decentralized about a year ago, but I was waiting a bit longer. I never doxed myself to the public. I built the whole project under an identity called Lena. It was actually pretending to be a chick, and I wanted to do that deliberately because I wanted to disarm people and win on basically with means and metrics and the merits of my ideas in the Discord. So I had to win people over based on the quality of the information I could output, rather than a preconceived notion about me. So that's why I built an unknown identity, and for it was a female identity as well called Lena. And when the whole idea was that when the protocol was decentralized, I would come out, because I would discard that identity and say, hey, the protocol's now truly decentralized. Lena could have shut the project down years ago if she'd quit paying the devs or rug the treasury or whatever. But now the protocol is decentralized, the treasury is handed over, the protocol's handed over, it runs itself. Lena can be discarded. So that happened about a month ago. And that's why you probably don't know about me. And I turned all my socials off for 8 years. I had no Instagram, no Facebook, no Twitter, and nothing. I just turned them all off. I put all my energy into the Thorchain Twitter account, actually. And I ran that from 0 to 250,000 followers in 6 years. And just all my promotional energy through that account. I've handed that over now, and now I'm rebuilding my own. So long-winded answer, but you did ask for it. I thought I'll just take you on a run.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Thank you so much. So interesting. So I guess where does that leave us? Maybe I think something that maybe you breezed over. Could you just, for the person who is new to Thorchain, can you just explain at a very high level what is, not on a technical level, but on a high level, what's the game changer? What does it provide that you can't do elsewhere?
Sure. So before Thorchain, you could not swap from Bitcoin to ETH in a decentralized way. So you could jump on ChainJelly or ChangeNow, or even back early before that was Shapeshift, and you could definitely send them a bit of ETH and outpop, and they'll send you a bit of Bitcoin. But that was done using a centralized liquidity, using centralized quotas, and a centralized system. And at any point, those systems could be taken down. Shapeshift is a good example of this. So they ran liquidity pools with reserve ratios for many years, but unfortunately they had to throw away all of that because they were centralized. They were running across their own liquidity. Thorchain is decentralized. So instead of being there a company or a team behind it, there is just literally 100 nodes at which anyone can join at any point. You can join. Anyone watching this can join. You just have to acquire the necessary rune. And by the way, anyone could have done that over the last 6 years. Rune's been price on the markets from sub 1 cent to $20, or today it's, I think it's $7. So, and you needed about a million runes. So to start off with, it's about $10,000 worth of rune could have got you a node. And so anyone could have done that. And a node today allows you to run 1/100th of the infrastructure required to run the system. And these nodes churn every 3 days. So not only do they fight to get in, but they have to fight to stay in, and the system will kick them out. Doesn't need any logos anywhere. You don't need to know who the node operators are. They just run this protocol, and because of the bond that they put into the node, which is incentivized them to be always double the amount of TVL that they're securing, or 1.5 times. They basically have they're in a Mexican standoff with the other nodes, so that everyone's got a gun pointed in their head, and everyone's saying, do not steal the money. If you do, we're all going to go down with the ship. We'll all lose everything, basically. So no node wants to steal the money, because the risk of losing all the bond, which is worth about $7 million to even run a node today, is too significant. So instead, they can earn 8 to 10% APY. So on a almost 10 million principal, they're earning $500,000 a year just to run the protocol, and that's a big paycheck. Just to run the protocol, just to rock up and run the protocol, they get $500,000 a year. And so look, if you look at the envelope of expansion, they can try and attack the protocol and lose $10 million, or they can just run the protocol and earn $500,000 a year. What would you choose? You'd earn $500,000 a year. Yeah. So that's why these nodes just want to look after the Bitcoin ETH, even though you don't need to know who the nodes are, and the nodes are constantly churning. So that's how the protocol works. So in short, you can swap between Bitcoin and ETH in a decentralized way. And all it does is you put your Bitcoin into a vault, the nodes observe it, and then they swap it over these pools and spit it out again. That's how it works.
Gotcha. So cross-chain decentralized exchange. It's outstanding. It's amazing. It works. There's been a lot of iterations, a lot of cool things, features added along the way. Why don't you just go through maybe 3 or 4 of the biggest highlights of the proudest features you've added? Maybe you could touch on saver vaults and the streaming turnover to reduce fees. I think are 2 highlights from me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think apart from the node management system, I think the node management system is our biggest win in terms of there is huge complexity there. But the decentralized churning every 3 days of these MPC vaults, and to withstand all the complexity around all the different chains is just probably our biggest achievement to pull that off. But it's a bit hard it's not an easy feature to wrap your head around. And a very easy retail oriented feature would be the streaming swaps. So streaming swaps are epic. They basically introduce the time domain to a swap. So typically you rock up to a pool and you demand liquidity from it. Let's say it's got $1 million in depth and you want to swap $1 million. So if you did that, you would move the price rapidly if you did it in one swap. You might be in a hurry, you might want to do that. And because you move the price rapidly, you pay a huge fee. But streaming swap says, hey, if you're willing to wait, we'll take your swap, break it up little bits, stream it over the pool, and then spit out a result, add it all up at the end, and send in the final result. And what that means is, because the swap takes place over minutes to hours, up to 24 hours actually, arbitrage agents, people who service the market, can bring capital into the pool and stream back. So you're streaming this way, and then they can stream that way. So as you're streaming, they're basically servicing your need. And every little substream, you move the price by a little bit, you'll create a margin for an arbitrage agent somewhere, and they'll go, hey, nice margin. We'll take that margin and stream back. So that's what's happening. And that is a very successful feature. We've seen streams across the W Bitcoin pool, the Wrap Bitcoin pool, like almost twice as large as the pool itself, which is just nuts. And the stream executes, sub 30 bips, which is just truly wild.
So that's fascinating. So sorry, let me say that back to you, make sure I understood it. The total amount of Bitcoin available in the pool, people can do swaps for larger than that amount because the streaming swap is filling it in as fast as you're taking it out. Oh, I had no idea. So the pool depth becomes less relevant now. Is that right?
Correct. So we've seen the wrap Bitcoin pool has about 70 wrap Bitcoin, 80 wrap Bitcoin. We've seen 150 wrap Bitcoin swaps go over that pool. So double the size of the pool. And we go like typically there's like if you swap that anywhere else, there's just not enough liquidity. The pool will go can't do it like like a range order on Ethereum at Uniswap V3. But Thorchain goes, yeah, no worries. We don't know where the liquidity is coming from, but we can bet you these ARB agents are going to backfill it. And so over the course of 3 years, because the protocol's been running the market in the wild for 3 years, there's heaps of arbitrage agents that now service the network, and they basically they're there and they're ready to swap. So that's how they do it. But they
Awesome.
bring capital back to the network when it needs it.
So, as I remember, when I first started playing around with Thorchain, the fees were they were up there, and as a result of these streaming swaps, how competitive are you with decentralized? Sorry, with centralized exchanges like a Coinbase or a Kraken or whatever? If I want to change my Bitcoin to Ethereum, am I going to get a better price typically on Thorchain or on a centralized exchange?
You'll get a better price execution on Thorchain today. Two reasons. Both you'll beat a central exchange on price and time by using Thorchain. The first reason, so price, Thorchain charges 5 bips, just 5. And that's the total liquidity fee applied. And the second reason is, so that's quite competitive. Like most, if you go and change now, whatever, it's not more, it's way higher than 5 bips. If you swap a MetaMask, they charge something like 86, 70 odd bips. But Thorchain is very cheap on the liquidity free front because it's so capital efficient. And the second reason is the time. So even if you stream, I mean, streams can be done in minutes. If you do a very, very large stream of millions of dollars, it might take an hour and a bit. But it typically done in minutes. And the time that you're waiting to, first of all, you're just gonna make a L1 Bitcoin transaction, so 10 minutes. The stream might take, depending how big it is, might take seconds to minutes. And then it goes in the outbound queue, and then it gets processed into Ethereum, 5 to 10 minutes later. So in that time, remember, this is a one-click transaction. Whereas if you had to like log into an exchange, pull out your two-factor, make the buy and sell order, then navigate to the withdraw page, click withdraw, do the two-factor email, blah, blah, blah. You're doing probably like 10 different user actions to do a swap. Whereas on Thorchain, it's just one transaction. So you just do the transaction, go away, make coffee, come back, done. You cannot beat Thorchain on price or time. I'm telling you right now, Thorchain has won. It's beaten not only everything else, it's Pareto in terms of it owns 80% of the ecosystem already. And everything we've seen, as long as the lead stays competitive and keeps grinding forward, once Pareto is achieved, it's very difficult to knock Pareto off. So Pareto distribution is, 20% is serviced by the 80%, or 80% of the needs of an ecosystem is serviced by 20% of the ecosystem. So that's Pareto. And Thorchain is
Fair enough.
Pareto.
Gotcha. So that kind of raises a question for me. Before the streaming swaps, pool depth was pretty significant. It kind of changed things significantly. You were really wanting to encourage people to invest in the pool, so you offered a yield to anyone who deposited Bitcoin or Ethereum or Rune or anything else. If you deposit in the pool, you're going to earn a yield because that's really valuable to you guys because it made the spread smaller. But now that you've moved to streaming swaps, my question is it as advantageous to you to have money in the pools? And are you being as generous with what do they call depositors as you were before? Hmm. Sophia. So that's really interesting to me that the depth of the pools became less important to Thorchain. Back in the day, the deeper the pools, the smaller the slippage, the better service you guys could operate. With the streaming sats, it sounds like that's a lot less important. So does this make less valuable to Thorchain depositors? And have you changed the way you incentivize depositors? Are they still earning interest for being depositors? How's that working?
So it just means the liquidity APY has gone up for the current TVL participant. So there's three pillars of Thorchain: security, liquidity, volume. Right now, Thorchain security is extremely high. It's got a lot of nodes bonding a lot of money. The volume of the network is really high on a capital base. I mean, at any certain day, it's doing almost 100% of its depth in volume. As a result, it generates large fees. Typically, if we're looking at today, it's about almost over 15 to 18% APY for its liquidity pool participants. So that is the last thing, the TVL. So TVL for Thorchain requires you to make, well, there's three ways you can add it. One is you can be a dual LP. So you can put your Bitcoin, put your rune in, and away you go. But it's very convoluted. It's bad user experience. You got to get a rune wallet, get a Bitcoin wallet. You got to be a Bitcoin holder, you got to be a rune holder, and you got to want to do it. So that goes from a addressable market up here to, okay, you got to be a Bitcoin and rune holder. Okay, reduces. Okay, you're Bitcoin and rune holder. Now you got to like tolerate the risks of being a dual LP and want to do it. So you go from here to here to here to here. So a very small amount of people in the world can dual LP Bitcoin and rune and tolerate the risk. So that's dual LP. And for the first 2 years, that was the only way to provide liquidity to Thorchain. Then we introduced the concept of savers. So we're trying to go after the giant pool of people who hold Bitcoin, which is, there's over $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin, and there's 100 million holders. And out of those giant addressable market, let's say 20% of them want to earn yield on the Bitcoin, or maybe 10%. That's still a huge amount of money and a huge part of the supply. And so we introduced this product called Bitcoin and Savers, which is just taking a single Bitcoin, you put it into the protocol, you earn yield on it. It's less yield than it being a dual LP because of less risk, but you get your Bitcoin back with the yield. So we introduced that. And then finally, we're going to go with the third, which is to roll out the same product for the rune holders. So currently there's like 200 million rune out there worth over $1 billion. And it's not doing anything. It's not contributing to the protocol. It's not in the liquidity. It's not doing it. It's just sitting there in wallets. Like it's on the Binance Cold Wallet. You can go check it out yourself. And we want to get that rune out of people's wallets and into the protocol via just a one-click button. And by doing that, we should be able to activate that rune. And that rune could then be available for a giant supply of a module to then match to big incoming Bitcoin that comes in. And then if we do this, then any rune pool participant will just basically chase the average liquidity APY, which is 15 to 18%. So that's really important. It's really important actually to keep the rune price in the center of its envelope. If rune is too volatile, like it either up or down, it kind of touches the edge of the envelope, because the rune price is actually critical for the way that the network functions. It directly correlates with the security of the network. It directly correlates with the TVL, the usefulness of the network, but also directly correlates to the safety of the network, and the features that it provides. So that's why we need to keep rune extremely liquid, and we're still along a roadmap of features to bring more TVL into the network for sure.
Okay, let me say that back to make sure I got it correct. For the dual depositors, you put in an equal amount of dollar value of rune and Bitcoin when you do that. You are saying that the current APY on that is about 18%?
Yep. Yeah, across all the pools together. So the aggregate APY is 18%.
Oh, okay. It's different for different pools. And the Bitcoin pool is probably less, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but if you were a rune pool participant, or a dual LP in every single pool in an amount that corresponds to the weighted distribution of those pools, you'd be earning 18% right now.
Understood. Okay, cool. And actually, I did want to chat to you. Let's get to actual using it. So let's go real layperson. What's the most user-friendly way for a layperson to get involved and say, buy some Bitcoin, buy some rune, and stake a little bit of both? How would you do that? What would you be to do it in a safe way? How would you do that?
There's like 60 apps and services built around Thorchain's ecosystem, and more coming out every day. You can just jump on a user interface. If you just wanted to swap, then believe it or not, you can just pull up your Trust wallet, and so I'll just create, like, I'll show you on my swap screen. So if I go to Trust wallet and I swap 1 ETH to Bitcoin, I'm just literally going to prove it to you right now. So 10 ETH to Bitcoin. There we go there. So I'm swapping 10 ETH to Bitcoin. And then down on the right here, the provider is Thorchain. So to do that swap from 10 ETH to Bitcoin, that ETH, it will go into Thorchain's protocol, get swapped, and it will be done in about 5 or 6 minutes, and just get done. How cool is that?
That's very cool. So that's swapping. So
So that's swapping. But if you wanted to add liquidity, then you would probably have to go to a more Thorchain centric user interface, such as Thor Wallet. So I'm pulling up Thor Wallet right now, and let me just unlock it. If you wanted to add liquidity, you can just jump on Thor Wallet, which is a mobile wallet, and there's a tab called Earn. And if you click that, it'll take you to basically some options, so you can save as vaults or liquidity pooling. So let's say we want to, we recommend just using savers vaults, so adding Bitcoin via savers. But if you want to tackle like dual LP, so here we go. Here I'm actually dual LP on this particular wallet in the Ethereum and Bitcoin pool, and so away you go. So you can just add liquidity that way.
gotcha. Now that's with a phone wallet there. That so to be clear, I'm not a techie, but that's got my spider senses going everywhere. I was like, "Ugh," I had like 1,400 Bitcoin stolen back in the day in 2013. So I'm like, oh hell, I don't like this. So as a bare minimum, I would like hardware wallet solutions and
No,
incorporating ledgers.
stop. Wash your mouth out.
Tell me,
Hang on
teach
a
me
minute.
more.
Dude, no. Single signature wallets. Okay, so I've been mucking around with wallets for over 11 years now. So when I first got into Bitcoin in 2013, even Apple Wallet banned all the Bitcoin wallets. So I then started building my own wallets. I've built the first versions of ThorSwap, Asgardix Chrome extension. I built a wallet library called CrossChain.js, which was basically wrapped all these wallet providers together because that wasn't available back in the day. So I'm a wallet developer for like almost 8 years now. And single signature wallets are the worst. A hardware wallet is fundamentally a single signature wallet. It has your private keys on a device, a proprietary device that looks like, I mean, I've got ledgers right here. Let me just pull them out. And like, I travel these damn things around the world. What does it look like to you? It looks like a crypto wallet, right? It's recognizable. It's got ledger written on it, right? You fly through Border Force or TSA, and at some point in the future, you're going to be asked, how much crypto have you got on that? And have you declared it? And if you can't answer correctly, it's going to get taken off you. If you accidentally upload your private keys or your 24 words in a phishing site, and I've seen plenty of friends do that, unfortunately, or click on your phishing email because, hey, back up your passphrase now, blah, blah, blah. It's all gone. So what's needed? So what we built with Thorchain is threshold signatures. So the idea that the private key never exists. You need multiple devices or parties to come together to co-sign together to create an outgoing transaction. That's how Thorchain works. So at the end of last year, I'm like, you know what? I had a bit of bandwidth. This is it. I'm sick of these single signature wallets and these convoluted multi-sigs that exist with Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I'm building something better. So I pull my lead Thorchain developer with me, and we built, and it's coming live on tests. It's live on test. It'll be live on App Stores very soon. But it's the world's first cross-chain multi-device MPC wallet. So let me just quickly take you through a flow. You can do this right now, by the way. So I'm just going to send one Ethereum to myself. I'll just quickly show you. So 1 ETH. So that's the send screen there. To do that, I go continue, and I'm just bunch of checks, sign. And what does it do? The money is not going anywhere. The money, this wallet, this device cannot send the money out, right? Until I pull up either my MacBook, which I'm talking right now, or a spare burner phone, which I've got in my backpack right here. I'll just pull it out. So this phone here, which is a spare phone I've got, has another device share. So in order to send this money out right now, I need both of these devices connected to each other via on this local Wi-Fi. So if you steal this phone or steal this phone or steal my MacBook, you're not getting access to my money. You would need 2 of these 3 devices to send the money out. That's live right now. It's going to be Android, iOS, web app. So you'll be able to log into a web app, anything you want, create a transaction, like a convoluted DeFi staking liquid, make a DAO transaction, click send. I'll pop a QR code. You'll pull up your 2-factor device, being your phone, scan it on your camera. So I'll show you what it looks like on the camera side. So to co-sign that, I just hit this button right there. Boom, opens up the camera screen, and I can also upload from gallery. Boom, and I get to co-sign with my 2-factor device. No more single signatures. The benefit of what I just showed you is it's fully multi-chain. So I'll quickly show you what we support already. And this is in a couple months of development. So choose chains, supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the L2s, Thorchain, Solana, Sui, all the Cosmos chains right there and then. This is not like a white paper or anything. This is literally live in test flight right now. It'll be live in the app stores within 2 weeks. Cross-chain, multi-chain, multi-device, multi-asset crypto wallets, multi-factor. Throw out your Ledger wallets right now and switch to multi-sig.
So, but all three of those devices are on the internet.
So you can, so what's wrong with that? So to attack that vault, you need to, one, be here in person to create a transaction. Their vault shares are stored on your iPhone in the secure enclave of this device. So this device is more secure than just probabilistically than those ledgers I showed you. The secure enclave, the security of this device is well in excess of a proprietary hardware wallet. By the way, your ledger has a code path right now to take your private keys and upload it to ledger servers. Did you know that?
Yeah. Well,
did you know that?
I did not know that for sure, but I was curious. I was under the impression that it was like a little bit of a what would you call it? Scandal not too long ago that they were able to help people get their keys back when they lost them. And I thought that was how can they do that?
So there's a code path in Ledger Live and Ledger that can push firmware to your Ledger device to take out private keys and send them to Ledger servers right now. Are you happy with that?
No, I'm not.
The answer is definitely no. So this Google used to say, don't be evil. All right. That's no. Not as in like, oh, we could do it, but we won't because we're not evil. No. Should be can't be evil. As in Ledger should not be able to take your private keys under any circumstances. That line of code should not exist. Because one day the European Union will probably deem self-custody as legal, and they will put a gun to the heads to some developers and engineers and CEOs and say, give me the private keys of every single European citizen. And at that point, it's over, right? You don't have custody of your crypto anymore. It's gone straight back to a state. Are you happy with that?
Not
and the
at
answer
all.
is no. So Multisig is fully open source audited. So when you say the private keys, you're worried, oh, the private keys attached to the internet. Dude, this device is off right now. Like I literally just have to turn it on. It is not connected to the internet. There you go. I'm turning it on right now. This device contains the backup multi-factor for my crypto, right? It's offline. To get into this device, you basically have to be run CIA level hacking code to try and get access to this latest iPhone running the latest software. The vault share is safe in here. The only way you can send funds out of my vault is by having this device online in person, making a transaction, right? That's it. And you can back up your vault shares offline. You just got to turn devices off.
Interesting. I had I had a similar experience. Well, an experience which would have been awkward for this. Driving the border. I was driving across like from Seattle to Vancouver, just driving into Canada. I'm not a Canadian citizen. And I was stopped at the border and they went through my stuff and they just said, yeah, we want to go through your phone, unlock it. This is going back like 7, 8 years, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And I was just like, no. And they said, entry's a privilege. We don't have to let you in. So if you don't do it, you don't let us into your phone. We're just not letting you in. And I didn't know if it was just, turn around and you're allowed to go back or you're arrested or whatever. But they insisted I unlock my phone for them to let me in, which at the time, I didn't have anything particularly private on my phone. So I was willing to do it. But yeah, but I mean, when you're at those border stations, I mean, there's men with guns. They can decide whatever the hell they want to do, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I had a similar experience as well, so I do a lot of travel, and that's why I carry 2 phones. They took my main phone, and again, I don't have anything to on it, but I did have crypto on my Trust wallet on there, and they took the phone. So legally in Australia, when you enter, if you don't give your PIN, they can take your device for 14 days, and they will clone it anyway. And there is software available to take the clone and unencrypt it through 0 days and whatnot. Or you can give them PIN codes and then they can just quickly flick through it. So that happened to me as well. But however, they did clone my phone. So they basically took all the information out of it, that phone. So I then immediately had to destroy those single signature trust wallets because those single signature private keys now exist on a government database.
Yeah.
And so, a government agent at one point into the future, because that is never going to get deleted, could see my crypto wallet there and take my crypto. So when I got my phone back, I had to quickly move my trust wallet crypto out of those single signatures into new wallets. Whereas in the Voltisig case, like you need to clone 2 of the 3 devices in the multi-factor ring. And like a laptop and iPhone looks way less incriminating or suspicious because everyone carries laptops and phones than a Ledger crypto wallet.
All right. Yeah, man, it's interesting. Yeah, they make it hard for you, don't they? That's crazy. All right, let's talk about well, first of all,
By the way, you should download Voltisig. I'll send you a link after this.
yeah, no, I'd love to have a play around with it. I would is there a way to pair it with something that never touches the internet? See, I grew up after in 2013, I had 1,400 Bitcoin stolen, and I got into Armory at the time, and I really loved the offline wallet idea of Armory. It's no longer supported, but I really loved that whole concept. And then Ledger came along, but it was a little bit more suspicious, and you plugged it directly in. And I'm far from a techie, but it never seemed as safe to me. And so I've always been looking, but haven't really kept my finger on the pulse. So that Armory model, if you're familiar with it, I assume you are. I just love that computer that never touches the internet. It sits over there somewhere, and it will handle your private keys. But of course, it doesn't make it easy to travel. So a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
So you can do it. You can connect these 2 devices just via Wi-Fi without touching the internet and sign. But remember to send the money. You gotta send the signed transaction to the internet. It's perfectly fine to have these devices touching the internet all the time, and you do it already at all times. And the crypto is internet native. So the whole idea, let's not touch the internet with our private keys. So remember, the vault shares are not private keys. Vault shares are basically undisclosed secrets that, when brought together, they allow you to sign a transaction to send money. So it's perfectly safe for them to be always online touching the internet if you just keep those vault shares in secure devices. And they only should talk to each other when you're about to send a transaction. And you should check the transaction before you send it. And then that's fine. But you have to feel comfortable with, you need to break this idea that crypto can't touch the internet. Just do it in a safe way. Because in the future, we're just going to have so many bots. The bots are going to take crypto payments. They're going to be bots paying bots, bots paying humans, humans paying bots. And it's all going to be connected to the internet, right? So throw away this idea that crypto can't touch the internet. It should touch the internet, just in a safe way. And the way you do it is multi-factor. That's literally it. So I need to change that mentality, and I'm doing it with Voltisig.
Okay, good. Well, we'd love to learn more about that. Is that well? Actually, we'll get to that in a minute. Are there any other of the big feature releases that you really want to mention to viewers that Thorchain's could have done in the last year or so that you're really proud of? You think are big time?
So there's savers. Streaming savers allow you to one-click deposit Bitcoin. There's going to be one-click deposit Rune soon. There's going to be streaming swaps. And also lending is also pretty cool. Lending is more a marketing play to attract more eyeballs to the project and bring in more liquidity. So lending is a feature that's undergoing tweaks and whatnot, but it certainly brings a lot of eyeballs to the protocol. It's not a major feature, although it's got over $100 million in collateral. So we'll get to see where that goes over the next few years. But it's really, in my opinion, streaming swaps, one-click deposit for TVL, and potentially in the future, perps. So perps allow us to create this kind of basically take the market off exchanges and allow people to go 5, 10x, 100x long Bitcoin, and that will massively drive up the volumes of the network and improve the fees taken.
Yeah. What about, are you anywhere near like limit orders and market books?
Limit orders and are coming. We've got the feature kind of half baked in the protocol. That will perhaps happen at the back half of the year, Q3, Q4.
Okay. And another feature that Chad mentioned to me was the idea of rather than trying to integrate with all the wallets, there's another idea where you can use any old wallet. You just have to you just go to a web page,
Right,
tell it
so
what to look
memoless.
for. What are you calling it, sir?
Yeah, memoless. So memoless allows you to someone else to pay for your transaction intent, so like a wallet provider, and then you do a swap. So I'll present you a QR code and you just simply send the money and away it goes. Done.
Gotcha. So you don't have to use a wallet integrated. Is that soon or around the corner?
Yeah, it'll be soon. It'll be in next quarter. We just have to shed some technical debt, do a hard fork, and then get cracking.
Okay. Very, very cool. All right. So I think that's a pretty good catch up. What about, is there anything coming up in the future that you're particularly excited about related to Thorchain?
I mean, Thorchain's on its pathway to 100 billion for sure. And there will be a decentralized liquidity protocol worth that by 2029. I think the whole ecosystem will easily be worth that. And Thorchain will command a Pareto share of that because it's growth trajectory and where it's headed. So it just needs more eyeballs. And so I'm starting a KOL marketing program. Previously, in the last 6 years, I blocked any kind of marketing influencer programs because the protocol wasn't ready. But today the protocol is ready. So I'm ready to go for it. I'm paying for it all myself. So I'm working with some key online what do they call themselves? Key online leaders, KOLs, to just go hard, just promote what Thorchain is. It works, it's a good protocol, it enables swaps, Bitcoin and ETH. Everyone should use it. The more people use it, the better it becomes. So that's upcoming, and I'm going to drive that heavily myself.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you're kind of a shift now. It's been very technology focused. You've created an amazing product, and now you're kind of shifting gears and pushing forward really on the marketing. Cool. Is there anything that you would like people to do in order to support that marketing effort for Thorchain? What should Thorchains do to help out?
Just retweet, repost, comment, like, share, anything that's got Thorchain on it, just promote, because it's a good protocol, doing good things, and it's improving the world. So everyone should get behind it. And my intent is to lead that vision over the next 5 years. I want to be here to see Thorchain achieve 100 billion, right? That's the goal, and everyone's in on it. So let's just go for it. It's a good thing. Like, the bigger Thorchain gets and the bigger this ecosystem gets, the chain flip, Maya protocol, Sarai, and all the interfaces that wrap all this, then the bigger then the more distributed and decentralized crypto can be. That's it. We don't want to see BlackRock and Coinbase sucking everyone's Bitcoin, and for that Bitcoin to be rehypothecated and seized by the US government. We don't want to see that, right? We want to see the Bitcoin in decentralized liquidity protocol, servicing the needs of the market in a distributed way. So you should be supporting that side of the future, and that's Thorchain. So get behind them.
Awesome. All right, JP, it's an absolute pleasure. Hopefully we'll get to touch base with you in a few more months or so, and we'll see how things are going. Any other final words for our viewers?
Just get in the arena, start building, start supporting. This is the cycle. We've got 18 months of this bull market. Get ready for Q4 2025, when the market will probably take a correction. But get in the arena, start building, because this is the future of money. This is the future of where it's headed. So just have a crack. Get out there.
Awesome. Guys, drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability below. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.